So this is kind of a tough video, and I'm just going to do the best I can. This is, in my experience, the depression and the hypomania and mania of bipolar that I've experienced personally, and my children, and my family, really. So I go through depressions, and even though I'm still on medication, I still have some depression, and I just can't get out of bed. I can't really take a shower, and sometimes I've had to call into work. And I know it's a cycle, so through years of experience, I just stay in bed and I lay there and I try to watch TV or watch a movie if I'm feeling good enough. And, I tell myself in the positive sense, I know this is a cycle and you may not believe it, but you're going to bounce back and you're going to feel good again. And my daughter Morgan, when she lived with me, she was very comforting. She'd come in my room and she'd watch an episode of Friends or something. And she didn't try to push me or anything. It's almost like she's just so empathetic somehow. She just has that ability to be very sympathetic and empathetic. And then finally, after a few days, she's like, Mom, she goes, why don't we go for a ride? And she goes, you don't have to get up or dress. She goes, just come get in the car and I'll drive us around. And I did it, and I did feel better. So she just has a real gift with that ability to relate to people. I think she's an artist, honestly. Now, my daughter Hillary doesn't seem to quite get it. So, that's okay. She wants to put it off on me being, different personality, narcissistic, things like that. And I think it's just chemical. I'm pretty sure, I've had a lot of therapy about it. But then we'll go in the most difficult route is when I'm in a good state of hypomania, which is kind of like me and the little doggy out just having way too much fun. Not so much fun that people notice and they're like, oh my God, calm her down. It's just like, oh, well, she's an upper. She feels good. It's kind of like riding the wind a little bit. You just feel really good. But you can get away with that. I'm never just like normal. Even on my medicines, I am just not normal. I'm either a little hypomania or I'm a little depressed. And luckily my medications are keeping me out of pure mania. And that's a problem. Because see, your head starts spinning and you get these ideas. And I go straight to being a famous artist and that I've got all this money. Or I'm about to get it, that the money's coming in. And I am an artist, but that doesn't mean I'm a famous artist. We have thousands and thousands of artists that are really good artists. And I might be a good artist, but that doesn't mean my work sells for a lot of money. But in my mind, part of my delusion, and this is more recent. In the past, I've had other delusions of grandeur, religious, things like that. Like I was giving birth to baby Jesus, and that was in the beginning. I was under a lot of stress, and I had my first psychotic breakthrough when I was in my early 20s. But, I try to think on how to relate to someone. And I would say if they're very angry and hostile and they're manic, just get away from them. But if they're just like manic and rambling on, and you're like, holy shit, wow, you can listen and then just kind of go on. You don't try to get into their head because you can't. You have to understand that talking about, for me, building the school or whatever, that's just my thing. And it may or may not happen. It probably won't, but you really can't have a discourse with someone who is manic. And if you can lose kind of the expectation that you're going to challenge them and straighten them out when they're manic, you just go on. Just say, that person's crazy. Okay, here we go. They may not be a danger to themselves or others. They may not need hospitalization. They may need to go see their doctor and get their medicines adjusted. But I would guarantee you probably should not tell the person that. Because if they're manic, you really can't get any ideas or thoughts across to them very well. Maybe a word or two, but interjecting an idea is tough when somebody's brain, it seems like the chemicals are, I don't really know the dynamics of the chemicals, but imagine them going, hyper fast, just going so fast that things just aren't making sense. And I'm just doing this video for my kids so that they'll have an easier life with it, that they have to deal with me. Thank goodness I haven't been, that kind of manic for a while. But I know when I was with my daughter Morgan, who seems to be very good, she would go, "Mom, you're manic, get away from me." That's it. I didn't get mad. I just said, "Oh, okay, bye." So you don't argue with the person, but you can set some boundaries when they're like that, if it's bothering you. And I know that I have some friends that if they go off their medicines and they get very angry, I just get away from them. I'm like, they're not going to listen to me anyway. Yes, sir. So, and if they do seem like a danger to their self and they're violent, you can call and try to get them help or tell somebody in their family or something like that. But anyway, it's a painful illness. And I think I try to tell my kids I love them. But when I'm hypomanic or depressed, it's hard to show that emotion of a healthy love because you just don't have it to show. Think of it being in an epileptic seizure. You're not acting right. Your brain is doing something. And just like the mania that grabs your brain and doesn't allow you to have the correct feelings or behaviors that show your children the right kind of love. And that's hard for kids. Really hard. They need help. They need therapy. They need support.